Hey everybody, Mark here from 8 Minute Acts. And like many people around the world, I was saddened and quite frankly shocked to hear of the passing of Neil Peart a few days ago. I am a huge Rush fan and it came as a total shock to me. And typically, when a celebrity that we admire and respect passes away, usually that sadness goes away after a short period of time. And that wasn't the case with Neil's passing for me. This morning when I woke up, I was still really bummed out about this. Rush was the first band that I truly loved, the first band that I called my band. Rush was the first band that I ever saw in concert, first band whose songs I learned on guitar. I really wanted to become a guitar player because I liked Rush. So Rush is the reason that I became a musician. So I wanted to take a brief trip down memory lane. I have a few things here that I dug out. I looked everywhere for my certificate to the Rush fan club and I couldn't find it. It's around the house somewhere. I did find a couple of these pins. I have a bunch more. I have some cool guitar pins. I don't know where they are. Again, they're in the abyss that is this house, but I actually ruined a shirt putting these on because the back of these pins are so rusty. I also have my 1984 yearbook, Thundercrest. I went to Hillcrest Junior High School in Trumbull, Connecticut, and as I rifle through the pages here, I noticed that on one of the pages, rather than getting signatures from my friends, I took up a whole lot of space and wrote Rush Rules. Rush is also the band that I've seen in concert the most times. I believe I've seen them 9 times. They were my first concert. Again, I tried to dig up some concert tickets and I found a few. My first Rush concert was December 7th, 1985 at the New Haven Coliseum in New Haven, Connecticut. I believe Steve Morse opened up for them. And I don't remember a lot about the concert. I was 14 years old at the time. I don't know how I convinced my parents to allow me to go, but there I was at a Rush concert at 14. And I've got a few additional tickets here. Again, I've seen them 9 times, but I don't have all 9 tickets. I do have my March 16th, 1987. I saw them at the Hartford Civic Center, and the Macaulay Schinker Group opened up for them. I saw them May 8th, 1990. Mr. Big opened up for them. I wrote a letter to Neil when I was 10 years old, and I watched a video this morning where a guy was talking about how he wrote a letter to Neil, and Neil actually responded with a handwritten letter back to him. And I remember I never mailed the letter that I wrote because my brother said to me, "Oh, he doesn't have time to respond to a kid." So thanks, Steve, for me not having a personal letter from Neil, which I really would have treasured all my life. So since I'm a guitarist, I'm going to leave it to the drummers to expound on the technical virtuosity that Neil had and why he is considered the best or one of the 2 or 3 best rock drummers in history. But most of you know that Neil was also Rush's primary lyricist. He wrote all of the lyrics for the band, or just about all the lyrics, from the time he joined on Fly By Night in 1974, their second album, all the way through the end. I think Geddy and Alex wrote a few songs here and there, but Neil wrote the majority of their lyrics. And the lyrics are culled from all different sources. Neil really liked science fiction and fantasy, so a lot of the songs deal with fantasy, science fiction, but he also had a love for English literature, and there are a number of songs that have literary references as well as history lessons. Rush lyrics run the gamut. You could find a little bit of everything in Rush lyrics. So coming in at number 5 is actually one of those history lessons. Number 5 is Bastille Day, and that's off of Rush's third and much maligned Caress of Steel album. I love Bastille Day. I love the lyrics. It's basically a history of the French Revolution in 3.5 minutes. And I didn't plan on reading any of the lyrics here, although by the time I get to number 2 and number 1, I may be tempted to do so. But for now, I encourage you to go check out Bastille Day and the other songs on this list. And please comment below. I want to see what you have to say and what your 5 favorite Rush songs are too. Let's pay tribute to Neil and open up the conversation. Coming in at number 4 is Red Barchetta. In the long and heralded history of car songs, I don't think a car song has ever been so eloquently penned as Red Barchetta. I didn't even know what a Red Barchetta was when I heard the song, but I knew I wanted one. Number 3 on the list is Spirit of Radio off of Permanent Waves. Spirit of Radio is exuberant, it's exciting, and it captures the essence of listening to the radio and everything that's good about music, being a musician and being a music listener. So coming in at number 2, and this was a really close race for number 2 and number 1. These are both by far my 2 favorite Rush songs as far as lyrics go. They're both amazing songs with amazing lyrics from beginning to end. So I had to pick a number 2 and a number 1 because I like doing things in order. So coming in at number 2, only for the reason that it alphabetically falls behind number 1, is Losing It. And Losing It is off of the Signals album, and it tells the story in the first verse of a dancer who is losing her physical ability to perform. And then the second verse, it talks about a writer who could no longer effortlessly write and his frustration in not being able to do that. And it also contains a great reference to the poet John Donne in the chorus where he says, "For you the blind who once could see, the bell tolls for thee." Awesome. And coming in at number 1 is Entre Nous off of Permanent Waves. It is essentially a love song. And I don't think there's any song in the annals of rock music that captures the complexity of relationships better than Entre Nous. And I said I wasn't going to read lyrics, but I have to because the lyrics are that good. So it starts off, "We are secrets to each other, each one's life a novel no one else has read. Even joined in bonds of love, we're linked to one another by such slender threads." Incredible. "We are planets to each other, drifting in our orbits to a brief eclipse. Each of us a world apart, alone and yet together, like 2 passing ships." And then he gets to the chorus. "Just between us, I think it's time for us to recognize the differences we sometimes feared to show. Just between us, I think it's time for us to realize the spaces in between leave room for you and I to grow." How incredible is that? That is absolute poetry. Neil, we're definitely going to miss you. Tragic loss to the world. And please share your thoughts below. And once again, I do send my thoughts and prayers out to Neil's family and to Getty and Alex and to anybody else in the Rush family.